got another historical appreciation film, the true story of Christopher Boyce and Andrew Dalton, and that was the Falcon and the Snowman, 1985, directed by John Schlesinger, who directed Marathon Man and Midnight Cowboy. This is an underrated little gem from the 80s. One of my favorite, in fact, is probably one of my favorite Sean Penn movies. It may be the best Sean Penn movie, I think. Timothy Hutton plays Christopher Boyce, a disillusioned 20-something that gets a job through his dad working at a secret, top secret installation receiving coded CIA messages. And he becomes, what his naivete is further disillusioned by the harsh reality that governments spy on each other and governments do things that are subversive. His dilemma, though, is he thinks that it's the U.S. that's doing it and nobody else does that. So he decides through his lifetime friend, played by Sean Penn, Andrew Dalton, to sell government secrets to the Russians. And it's fascinating to watch these guys kind of, in a docudrama style, unravel. You know, they start out with this ideological naivete that, quite honestly, a lot of young people have. I mean, I guess I had it too. I mean, we all, inexperienced in life and realities, have these ideologies that simply aren't battle tested and aren't practical. And one of them, I think, and this film really illustrates that quite well. A lot of people, I think, in their 20s and younger should check this film out, because some of our notions about our government and what we stand for flies in the face of a harsh reality. And the reality is, all governments are run by people, and people are pretty much the same. They all have the same foibles. Just because you live in the United States doesn't mean that Muslims or Russians or anybody else or Chinese have some patent on a better solution and treat people better and those type of things. It's a very naive scenario. But anyway, Christopher Boyce was clearly disillusioned, and he decided to sell government secrets to the Russians, thinking that we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be spying on other governments, and we shouldn't be interfering with other governments and those type of processes, when the reality is everybody's doing it. So long story short is they get in over their heads and end up getting arrested and going to jail. In fact, both of them are out. Both of them, I don't know what, I did a brief check on the internet to see if there was any updated facts on these guys. I think Christopher Boyce lives in Oregon. And he had as you can imagine, a troubled history. Even after he got out of jail, he had a troubled history, as did Andrew Dalton, who was really a drug dealer. And he basically parlayed his drug dealing into selling. He was basically the courier for Christopher Boyce, selling secrets to the Russians through an embassy in Mexico. But to watch these guys and their progression is a fascinating piece of drama. The music of Pat Metheny is fantastic. Some of the best music. I just love the music in this. And of course, you've got the famous song with David Bowie and Pat Metheny in the back, and the orchestral instrument section playing "This Is Not America," which is a fantastic song from the 80s. All in all, a great film and a great release. This is a Kino Lorber release, and unfortunately, it doesn't have these special features. I'd have loved to have seen kind of an updated documentary. I mean, I'm not sure why they didn't. It'd been great to try to interview Christopher Boyce and get his modern day interpretation of, how he acted as a 20-something, and does he regret what he did. But Unfortunately, there are no special features on this disc. But it's a great movie, wonderful soundtrack, John Schlesinger, great direction, and highly recommended. Falcon and the Snowman. So, I appreciate you watching. Thanks.